All right, so hello everybody, and welcome to the first issue of All Thumbs podcast with myself, Jace Oppie.
Sarah Moni. You can just call me Sarah.
Trevor Spotted Eagle.
All right, and we are kind of your guides through pop culture, comic books, and kind of everything geeky related.
Pretty much, it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It all ties in.
Yeah, all comes back to comics, sort of.
yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and kick off with our reading list and what we've been reading in comic books recently. So for me, the first thing what I've been reading this week has been kind of a future timeline of Hulk, which was Hulk Future Imperfect. Go ahead and pull up the cover art for one of those for us.
When did this come out? I don't remember this.
This came out in the early 90s.
Looks very 90s.
Yeah,
it
it
does.
looks very 90s. It is the epitome of the 90s. So you see this really awesome Hulk art, which is what drew me into it.
This covers that don't have the Marvel now are red on the bottom.
Yeah. I feel like it's like the tickers on like movies and TV shows when you're watching, and there's always like a banner or
Yeah.
something on the bottom. I'm like, can I just get just like my full artwork? It looks like arcade like art on the side of a game from like
It
Right.
does.
like Primal
It really
Rage
does.
or something.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like the cover to the Hulk game we never got in the 90s.
One day.
One day. We'll get a good Hulk game.
That would be
Eventually.
so fun.
Yeah. They had one for the PlayStation. It was not good. You did not feel like the Hulk. It was very disappointing.
So it's a Bruce Banner game.
Yeah. Puny
You're
Banner.
miserable.
You're
puny
miserable and emo the entire time.
Yeah. Your glasses break.
Go ahead and pull up the other cover art. One of the really cool things about Future Imperfect was seeing the Hulk in his future version, and this whole story is really
Is it metal
Hulk
sleeves?
versus Hulk.
Oh no, it's a vest. It's a vest. Hulk's are wearing a vest. Okay.
Yeah, so this is him. He's called the Maestro in this future, and essentially what happens is it's just post-apocalyptic landscape.
Mm-hmm.
Nukes went off everywhere, and the only thing that can survive that many nukes, obviously, is the Hulk.
Yeah.
He gets stronger from it, and he doesn't become a good guy. So don't want to leave too many spoilers, but it's really good. So essentially what happens is Rick Jones sends back in time a note to himself to convince the Hulk to come to the future and stop himself. So if we can go to Rick Jones's memorabilia room, this is something I really thought was really neat. Was seeing all of the memorabilia that he's collected throughout the time. Yeah, here you go. You can see Cap's shield. You can see Magneto's helmet.
Cap's broken shield.
No, I don't think it's broken in this one.
Is it on the bottom next to? You see it down
I
there?
think this is before the broken shield trend that happened.
No, so is it?
It looked,
Oh,
yeah, that.
that'd be an older one, yeah.
Oh, it's an older Cap shield underneath the Cap shield. Wow.
Mm-hmm. That
Oh, is it-
Mjolnir.
Is that Hulk in the back? Very back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Hulk
He's
standing
coming
in, like
in.
he's just walking in, like what the crap is this? Yeah, you can see like at his foot in the foreground there's Doom's helmet.
Is that Nova's
yeah.
helmet?
Yeah, I think it is Nova's helmet right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can
Is
see
it like a small Galactus trash can or something?
it's essentially every nerd's room,
Okay.
but
There's no Doctor Who stuff. Not under.
oh,
No TARDIS in the walls.
no
somewhere.
TARDIS anywhere. Well, all the Marvel nerds, this is basically what your room probably looks like, doesn't it?
Yes. Except it's littered with pop vinyls because those things are addicting.
Oh my god.
They're too cheap. They made them too cheap.
Yeah,
Too addicting.
they have a good collection of those over at Samurai Comics.
Oh, I know. That's why I
And
don't go there.
Every time I go there, I'm just like, don't spend the money. Don't spend the money. But yeah, so Hulk Future Imperfect. It's a really good future timeline. It's a real fun story. If you get a chance to pick it up, it's only like 2 or 3 issues.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's nothing. You probably find it for $1 a piece at any local shop.
Any shop you stick
Yeah.
through. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on to.
This last week, I guess I picked up all of the Death of Wolverine because it's only 4 issues, but I've been waiting for all of them to come out. And now that they're all out, I picked them up.
Yeah.
And I guess a little backstory for that, I guess, if for people that don't know, because Marvel's trying to make Wolverine interesting again. How I see it, you know, we had Wolverine like Savage or something. And
Right.
he had his own series, and they were trying to get it to take off again, and no one's really reading it because all the X-Men comics out right now. So Wolverine contracted a virus, and that virus, for his healing factor to fight it, eventually lost his healing factor to this virus when he got rid of the virus.
Okay.
So now that's where the Death of Wolverine starts out, is that he's talking to Mr. Fantastic, and he's gone to, you know, Reed Richards, he's gone to Stark, he's gone to everyone he can think of who might be able to help him get his healing factor back, but no one's able to work something out. And Wolverine needs his healing factor for his powers to work, for him to be able to pull his claws out and then retract them and have himself heal, for the metal in his bones. Like, if he didn't fight anymore, he could live as long as, you know, he can live a full life for once. He can actually die. But the problem
old age, a real old age,
is word gets out and someone puts a hit out on Wolverine. And so now he's secluded himself on this island, and there's just every enemy in Wolverine's history showing up, and he's having to take them all out, not using his claws, not healing. So it's really interesting to see him improvise, and I have this image here. At one point, he wraps like some metal bars he sharpened around his fist, so that he has, you know, makeshift claws. You know, they're not adamantium, but it's just so he can actually fight the way he's used to. So you see a lot of improvising, but you also see some of the people who are big in Wolverine's history, like this other picture. Kitty Pryde makes an appearance at one point, and
Lady Deathstrike.
Lady Deathstrike shows up.
Yeah.
That's another thing, is people put out a hit on her as well, and you can probably assume X-23 and any I think Deadpool, any weapon, anyone who's kind of related to Weapon X.
Well, let's talk about this image you've brought up real fast, because I think this is probably one of the most awesome things I've seen Kitty Pryde do.
Right?
Yeah.
It's something we've always thought she could do and wanted her to do, but she never does.
Yeah, so she phases her hand through Lady Deathstrike's hand, and then corporealizes it in the middle, which just devastating. Like, imagine doing that to someone's head.
Excellent. This is the kitty. Yeah. More of this kitty.
Right?
Yeah.
Same thing with like Sue Storm. Like, her power's so underused, because she could just go force field around your heart and then just.
I think it's
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That would.
Yeah.
What is it? Wolverine kills the Marvel Universe. I think she pops his head by putting a force field inside his head and expanding it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More of that. More exploding heads. More
yeah.
severed hands. Like, if you have these abilities, use them, and don't just, I can go through walls. Yeah, you can go through anything.
Have they put I haven't noticed lately, but have you guys seen Kitty Pryde do her like stair walk ability? Kitty Pryde can walk on air particles. That's why she doesn't fall through the earth when she goes.
Right.
invisible.
Yeah. Okay.
Like in the past, like when she first came out, they showed it a lot. If she were like to need to get up somewhere, she would have to walk like stairs. She can't fly, but she can like walk on air.
That's.
Yeah, they don't really show.
That's
It's kind of
interesting.
weird. It's weird to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to spoil too much of it. Like, what's going on? It's Wolverine's trying to track down who put the hit on him. You see a bunch of familiar faces. But yeah, it's only a 4-issue series.
Does Wolverine die at the end?
The burning question.
What's the burning
4
question here? The burning
issues.
question is really, when does he come back?
Yeah, that's okay. There
They've
you go.
already don't they already have a plan for Wolverine 2015? Summer of 2015, they have this big Wolverine arc already planned.
Yes.
Dude didn't even die. He just died like last month.
Comics are more cyclical than fashion. Marvel's not going to kill off one of their biggest cash
Right.
cows.
They
obviously.
should at least kill him off for a year. I think if you want it to mean
At least a
something,
year, but I don't even think it's going to be a year though. I think we're going to get maybe 8
Ultimate
months.
Wolverine, or he'll be in some different version, or he'll be like ghosting around Laura and be like, "Remember me?" Blah, blah, blah. Like, it'll be weird, ghosty
Obi-Wan
Logan.
Peter Parker was in the beginning. If you guys read Superior, the first like issue, you're like, oh man, well Peter's dead. End of the issue, it's like Obi-Wan Peter. He's just this like phantom ghost trailing
So,
around
yeah, like,
Otto. So that we're gonna get is Obi-Wan
Yeah.
Wolverine,
Yeah. I
just
think that's what we're going to
harassing Cyclops.
get. Yes, that's what he needs to do. He needs to haunt Cyclops.
Oh, that's fine. That's the only time Wolverine can stick around and be in every issue, is only to taunt Scott and be like,
Yep.
"You're obnoxious, and I'm gonna haunt you."
Forever.
Mm-hmm.
Just because.
Just cause.
Alright,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what I was
so
reading, yeah.
Good
Alright,
one.
Good deal. And what have you been into?
I have been catching up on Original Sin. The main story arc was 8 issues, basically stemming from the Watcher being murdered. And then it had a ton of tie-ins. Spider-Man was one. There was a Fantastic Four one. Like, everybody had a tie-in. But I read the 5th installment, which was the Thor and Loki one. And aside from them just being my boys, Angela is in this. And she came over to Marvel last year from Image.
Yeah.
From Spawn. So when she first showed up at the end of Age of Ultron, which is kind of crazy timing, so she shows up, and then she was in Guardians, like as a part of their actual team. So I got really into it. So the Thor and Loki storyline catches up. She's still with Guardians, and we find out in this issue that there is a 10th realm, because like there's
Right.
the 9 realms, or like planets, depending on how you want to read into it, of Yggdrasil, the world's tree. We find out there's a 10th one that Odin's been hiding, because that's what he does, because he's a Scheissmeister. Hate Odin too. Odin and Wolverine can go fight each other. Anyway.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah. Got to be a lot of pain. There was a war between the Asgardians and the Angels, and Angela is one of these, kind of like a utopian Amazonian type Wonder Woman society.
Okay.
Very there's lots of estrogen there.
Lots of estrogen.
Estrogen that will kick your ass to hell and back. And turns out that Angela is Odin's daughter.
Oh,
What?
Snap.
So,
Well, he just has kids with everybody, doesn't he?
yeah, well, I think
Not
that's
Zeus.
a deity thing.
It's a
I
deity
don't think
thing?
it is. Like, we've
Yeah.
got eternity. Okay.
Why not?
One from every realm. Like, yeah. That's
Yeah.
like the
Gotta
super
collect them
pimp
all.
dream. Yeah, that's what it's like. So he's got women like Pokemon cards, and turns out he thinks that Angela was killed as an infant. Turns out she was taken by the queen. So we find this out, and of course there is some mischief on Loki's part.
Of course.
Oh, really?
Of course,
Loki doing mischief. Who'd have guessed?
I know. I was shocked. I read it. And I was just
Shocked and
like,
appalled?
Loki, how could you? So I think it's like there was like a moment of like, I'm adopted and I hate it, but for
Right.
some reason she's okay and you can own up to having her. So he pits Thor and Angela against each other, and there's a lot of things that happen internally in the House of
Well, it's really
House of Asgard.
interesting to see what's happening with Angela, knowing that she's a Neil Gaiman character, one of my favorite authors, love him to death. So seeing him come, get the rights to his character.
It was a whole court case, wasn't it?
Whole court case
Yeah.
for that,
And Todd too. They're
Yeah.
both in on Todd.
Right. Yep. So, and seeing that, and then seeing them come over to Marvel and just openly accept the character and kind of run with it and make it a really good, deep-seated thing. Like,
It flows so well. Because when I read Guardians, I loved it, and she and Gamora totally hit it off, and they're like,
yeah. So in the
Awesome.
Trial of Jean Grey, there's a tie-in with the Guardians where they come in X-Men for the Trial of Jean Grey. So seeing the Guardians come in with Angela in tow at the time was really interesting to see. She instantly became my favorite Guardian in the comic book realm. Movies, though, we can talk about that another time. Cause
I don't think it's her time, but I can dream. Until
Yeah.
then. 'Cause one of my best friends really got me into like her background and everything, so I was like, I can see why you like her, and I feel like she's been pretty consistent from Image to now. I mean, obviously there's like a 20-year. She was 93, like early 90s. She was created
95, I thought it was, but I could be wrong.
somewhere in there.
I
It's
have the trade paperback of like her first run.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, if you need to
Yeah.
borrow that,
It's
by
not
all
big
means.
either. It's a pretty
it's
thin.
like this thin. It's
Yeah.
super small.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I'll bring that in for you to read if you want to check it
Yeah,
out.
definitely.
It's really good.
So I think that's cool.
I have that. I got that at the same time I got my Wildcats. Yeah.
Own it.
Wildcats. Anyways.
Own it. So yeah, that's the Original Sin storyline that I really like. So finding out there's a 10th realm, cool. Angela's an Odin daughter,
Yeah.
cool.
Ish.
And yeah, It's cool.
Loki hasn't got over that whole adoption thing.
He never will.
He's never gonna let that go.
I don't think he's gonna.
Spend years.
Is he allowed to? I don't think he's allowed to.
No, it's a part of who he is. He just wants to be accepted. Like there's a part I don't want to give too much away, but like since he's a shapeshifter and he can be like any version of himself in this organization, this hierarchy in heaven is what the 10th realm is called, but it's spelled without the A. So heaven, in contrast to hell, Hel.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah. And it's a 10, perfect 10.
They can't.
So much symbolism. Like there's like a board of like I don't know, cool like a court almost, and they're like, hey, you're really good with working with people. Do you want to join us? And then he's like, ooh, I'm a woman now. Am I accepted? And they're like, yeah, sure, this works, okay. So that happens, very convenient. So I don't know, that's why I like Loki, because there's so many different forms of him, and people say, oh, well, you know, it's shapeshifter, Mystique, and chameleon too, and that's cool, they can be anybody, but not different versions of themselves.
Right, yeah.
So I think that's what's pretty cool.
Well,
could Mystique?
Mystique could, sure. I don't think she does that, but more...
It's
Benjamin Deeds, if you've been reading anything with Marvel Now, X-Men in the Marvel Now, they've been coming out with a whole bunch of new mutants. And Benjamin Deeds is the new shapeshifter, who's like, whatever makes you comfortable, you know, he'll turn into that.
Okay. I'm actually really loving the new mutants they're putting out. Like, the one girl, she can like freeze time in a bubble. Yeah.
Eva Bell or
when
Eva
they first got her, the Avengers showed up, and then she froze time, and she could have beat the Avengers single-handedly right there because they're just froze in her bubble.
Yep. She could have ended the Avengers, and it was just like, yeah, this is how. Wasn't that what Scott said? This is how powerful we are. We can just put an end to this without raising a finger. You don't have a chance against us.
And
they walk away.
So like mutants who just don't have their powers aren't that impressive. Like the guy who has like the balls coming out of him.
Gold balls.
Yeah.
they keep calling him gold balls.
Never know. Game of dodgeball, man. He'd take everybody out. Done.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's the very nature of the mutants, is they have to be flawed to counteract their potential OP-ness.
Yeah.
Right.
So just to keep everything in balance. So.
Well, not going too much into Eva real fast, but the thing I like about her was she like disappears for like a couple of scenes in one of the comics, comes back and her hair is like noticeably longer.
Oh.
And there's this whole thing where like I don't know what happened to her yet, but I don't think anybody does, but essentially she disappears for an undetermined amount of time and shows back up with like better mastery of her skills and being older. She hasn't told anybody. She hasn't told Scott. Like obviously people are aware of it, but she's keeping it very hush hush.
She has like her own private danger room that she can
like
time warp into. Yeah.
Time chamber, exactly. So let's go ahead and move on here. For our main review today, I think we want to talk about the movie slate.
Oh man,
it's quite the laundry list. It's like a buffet of cinema.
So first off, let's talk. They released this at the El Capitan Theater. Marvel did this on Tuesday, I believe. What are your original thoughts on the list? Like, what's your film that you're looking forward to the most?
Oh, I think the Infinity War.
Infinity War Part 3.
I want okay, because I don't know what they're gonna focus it on. If it's gonna be anything like the comic, which you get Adam Warlock out.
Right.
I'm waiting for him to show up. I'm hoping it's Guardians 2.
Guardians would make sense, yeah.
Yeah, like he definitely Guardians 2, and we need him for the whole Infinity War.
Well, we already got we already have an Adam Warlock teaser.
Well,
from
yeah,
Guardians
we have
of
his
the Galaxy.
Husk. Yeah.
We saw his husk in the collector's room.
The first time we seen it was at the end of Thor 2.
Right. Yeah. How did it get from? That's my question.
Thor 2 was the Guardians teaser.
Yeah, the end of Thor. So, yeah. Oh, did you say Guardian teaser? I thought you meant like the Howard the Duck teaser.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Howard the Duck teaser though. In the Howard the Duck teaser, you
still see it. Yeah.
You still see it empty.
It's still there.
Yeah. You see just the husk of the cocoon left.
Another thing to kind of branch, just the collectors like the image that you showed of like the room of like every artifact. Yeah. We see a captured Chitauri and a dark elf. Like we think Svartalfheim is gone by the end of Thor 2, but now that we know that Ragnarok is happening, like that's the collision of Twilight of the Gods, all these realms ending. So I'm like they have to have some sort of, you know, people on these realms and planets still, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I'm excited for Ragnarok. I think my biggest excitement personally is Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Cap 3, I mean...
It's going to be heavy.
Yeah. What did they do? They did the troll announcement of Serpent Society.
Okay.
Which got a whole bunch of groans from the crowd. And then finally we get the Civil War. Go ahead and pull that up so they can...
And we talked about this last week too, and Civil War is going to be a lot different than the comic. We don't have as many characters, but...
Well,
It's going to be something about Iron Man wanting to do, you know, a registered hero list.
Yeah.
Government control, shield control.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't think that they're gonna do that though. If the teasers that we've seen for Age of Ultron have taught us anything, and really, if the cinematic universe as a whole has taught us anything, is that they're not going the same route in regards to what they did in the comics.
Oh no!
I think Civil War is just a way of them telling us that it's Tony Stark versus Steve Rogers. That's really the core concept of it. I don't know if it's going to be about superhero registration because we don't have any superheroes really, not masked ones.
I think something at the end of Avengers 2, like Age of Ultron, something at the very end of that movie, like how end of Avengers 1, you know, they all left and it was nice. Like, you know, they snuck out as a group. Sam Jackson just let them go.
Right.
I think it's going to be the opposite of Avengers 2. I think after what happens and the damage Ultron does, if S.H.I.E.L.D. is still around, whatever organization's around is going to want to have control now of Bruce Banner, of Cap, you know, and I think Tony Stark is going to be for it.
Well, yeah.
That's a good point. Instead of registration, it might switch to like, are you S.H.I.E.L.D. or are you Hydra?
Oh.
Drawing lines in the sand.
Yeah, I think it'll be very... very particular because Cap 2 is kind of like Avengers 1.5.
Yeah.
So it follows pretty succinct to what's happening in the MCU, which if you're going to make a comic adaptation, I think they're doing a pretty good job with the changes that they have made because it's still like heavily inspired and influenced, but it's something fresh because Civil War is how old? 10 years?
No, it's about 5 years.
Is it 5
Came
years?
out in 08, I want to say.
Yeah.
How long is 08? That's 8 years ago? No,
it's
I have
2014. So
7
I don't
years
even know. 6 years. There we go.
5 or 6
Well, it's going to
years.
be 7 years.
Yeah, I guess
we're at the end of 14.
Well, we're getting another Civil War though in comic book world.
Are we?
Yeah, that was one of the teasers they released a couple weeks ago. We're getting what was it, Secret War again? We're getting Civil War
And
again.
actually, I did hear about Secret War.
And they're doing a couple of other re-releases or something. I don't know exactly. All I saw was the teaser image they released for it. So
It's cool. Yeah.
Kind of going on, if people listen to our episode 0, about the news on what's his name?
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Cumberbatch Benderbatch.
Cucumber Bender Patch.
Okay, so
that Doctor Strange casting that we talked about last week
is now official.
It's official.
Where is it official though?
Well, no, it's not official, but
it's not official.
It's just the internet blew up about it.
Yeah, the internet blew up about it, but the same resource that we have for all of this, that them going to El Capitan Theater, they flat out say at the end, if we did not announce it today, officially announce it today here at this theater, it's just rumor at this point. That deadline.com.
So we can cross our fingers and hope it stays just rumor.
I don't think it's going to be him.
The thing is, I think he's a great actor.
I think he's a phenomenal actor. I think he's wonderful as Sherlock.
But not Stephen Strange.
I think I need to see him in more things, honestly, for myself. Like, I see him, I think, as Sherlock, which he does great in Sherlock.
Right,
and
absolutely.
In Star Trek, he did a good job. He did a great job in Star Trek.
Yeah, I think the downfalls with that was not his to claim. I think it was the writing that was the downfall for that.
But I can't see him as Strange. I just really can't. And most people I know who read comics feel the same about it. But the people who were excited were the Sherlock fans, the Benedict Cumberbatch fan group. They blew up.
Yeah, and I'm one of those fans. I'm a very diehard Sherlock fan. I can't wait for them to make those forever. Like, he's not allowed to not be Sherlock anymore. He has to do that forever.
They just
Yes,
want
pull up
Sherlock
this image.
and Loki
Oh my god, you
on
found
screen.
this. This is the
That's
image
what people
of,
want. Yeah, the painting
uh,
that sparked it.
yeah,
Mm.
everybody saw this,
Ah.
and it's just not good enough for me.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
it's a
interesting.
cool Photoshop. Like, it's like, oh, this would be a nice what if one-off
Yeah.
issue, but I want not my Strange.
No, I still think Joaquin Phoenix is the strongest choice, but I
But
heard
he doesn't want to do it.
I heard the
Turned it
deal
down.
fell through with that.
That's what made me they're trying to beat around the bush and not own up to it, but I think they called it because there was so much speculation. Like, it was like 10 actors possible, 5 Joaquin's in paperwork, and he pulled out of it, and he's not going to do it. And now Benedict's here, so I was like, I don't know. Seems, I don't know, likely, but I don't know. I'll reserve judgment. I'll deal with what
I
I've
think
got,
we'll
but-
within the next month or so. Maybe come
Well, yeah.
Christmas. I think we'll know.
Yeah.
It's a 2016 movie though, right? Strange is a 2016, so we have 2 years before
Mhm.
November 2016. So we have 2 years before we're expected to see this. And the one thing I have to say, obviously, is that every casting job that they've done so far
Spot on.
has been spot on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can say what we will about who we think they're gonna pick,
It took them 3 times. So I guess 2 Marvel official to get Bruce Banner down.
right?
But
True.
by the time Avengers 1 came out and they were on, like,
Right.
on
And
a
that
roll,
that
they did
wasn't.
great.
And that's not to say that Edward Norton
No,
didn't
he was
do it.
he was fine too.
He was a great.
He did.
You know, he just
He
there
seemed
was
like
other
ultimate.
things behind the scenes that went into
Mhm.
that as to why he wouldn't play well with Avengers.
Mhm.
So and I still think they did a great job casting that role.
Yeah, I feel like he's really good, like, ultimate Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's just a different version, but Ruffalo's.
Do you guys remember Smart Hulk from Ultimate? When Bruce Banner was able to control Hulk's, like, be Hulk and be Bruce Banner at the same time, and he would wear like a suit and tie, and he was intelligent, but he was like still Hulk.
No, I definitely missed this.
It
one.
was it's somewhere in the middle of the Ultimates. Go read it. Go read Smart Hulk.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's a lot of fun.
I must have missed that completely.
I know what happened. I just
he's
haven't
very
read it.
sassy.
He's sassy.
Oh, I love it.
Oh.
Sassy man in a little suit. Oh,
Yeah.
I can't
Yes.
wait. Okay. Yes.
That's, yeah.
I'll
Okay,
read
I'll
it.
check it out.
Alright,
So what else do we have on
Oh.
this list?
Well, I think
that
we
we're
need to
excited
kind of.
for?
I think we need to kind of tie it up a little soon.
Mm.
So let's go ahead and move on to our last little segment for the day,
Oh.
which is Cosplayer Spotlight. Sarah, why don't you go
Yes.
ahead and lead us into this?
I
Who
will.
are we looking at today?
Right now, we are looking at Firelight Cosplay. My very good friend Amber, she's a member of the Arizona Avengers as well. I met her some time ago, almost 2 years now. She started off in the 501st with this this is her original character, that's Twi'lek, and she does such a phenomenal job with everything, makes everything. Her paint is phenomenal and on point, and it is one of the hardest things to get down in
I was
cosplay.
gonna say, like, that must take a long time.
It
Yeah,
takes,
how long does it take? I mean, you do a Gamora cosplay yourself, so how long does it
Yes.
take to get into?
for me, just because it's my arms, like, it's basically the upper half of my body because her top is like mesh in some parts, but it's
Right.
about a 2-hour ordeal. So for Amber, it's roughly the same time, but she has the prosthetic Legu
Wow.
that she's got to match and fit and everything. So I think it's 2 to 3 hours for her, and she has her husband that helps, do all the application and everything.
Yeah.
So with that wonderful blue, she's also our classic Mystique, and does a really
Okay.
good job. Or I guess Ultimate Mystique with the like the black like crop top, almost looks like X23.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
crop
skull.
top. Yeah. Okay.
And she has that one. Borderlands, and she has a classic Jean Grey. I love that with her. Rio is her Twi'lek. It's never the same anytime she wears it. She's always like adding something, and I think that's really, really cool because that's one thing that you don't see in cosplay. When you're a character, you're either canon or a variation, and that's just what it is. Since this is like her and her own character, she wears different things, and it's not like, a serial cartoon where you see them and they're in the same outfit for 8 years.
Right. Yeah.
So I really love all the touches. Her props are always on point. And
Yeah, I want to say
total
that we
sweetheart.
saw her at Amazing Arizona Comic Con
Yes.
beginning of the year, and I don't even any of these pictures we've looked through. I haven't seen any of the ones that she wore that day.
Oh no! I think Poison is pretty new. And then her Sailor Cosmos, she's in our ragtag group of Sailor Moonies.
Oh, Sailor Moon.
Well, we're not ragtag. Everybody's on point and awesome.
Everybody's on point. Yeah.
Everybody's on point. No,
Awesome.
it's one of the best group cosplays that I've ever been in, and with so many people, we're upwards of
Do we have pictures of this?
10.
Can we share the other
Yeah, we
people?
can go on her Facebook. There would probably be some pictures of her Sailor Cosmos with all of us.
Yeah.
And it's not just the inner Senshi, it's outers, Tuxedo Mask, Mini Moon, and eventually we're going to get our generals, our 4 generals, and we're getting a Luna and an Artemis.
Of course.
So, yeah, very soon.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never watched Sailor Moon before, ever.
We will
We
get it.
all watched
We all, yeah.
There's some of
There's
us.
no lying.
There's that, yeah, the big group picture at Sabo. I think we might have a couple moons in there because they jumped in. And you can see me on the edge as Pluto.
Yeah, let's pull this up for the.
So, yeah, there we
rest of
go.
us.
So in this, we can see on the far right is Amber is Sailor Cosmos, which is Moon from the future. And then
On the far
far
left.
far
you mean?
left, I'm sorry.
Yeah, far right's
Yeah,
you.
I know, yeah. I am Amber. Isn't my cosplay great? I'm a different person. So far left is Amber, and then to the right is Cassidy is Queen Beryl. That's the other one.
Okay.
We have villain, or Cassidy O, and then Heather Ann for Jupiter. Tasha doesn't have a page, but Tasha's amazing, and she's our amazing Uranus. And then next to her, her lover, Sailor Neptune, is Red Rapunzel cosplay, Caitlin. And then we found another Uranus, and Saturn, which you almost never see, Mercury, me as Pluto, and then Tasha's sister on the bottom as Mars, and then Rachel, Stray Cat cosplay as Moon. Mini Moon is Crystal Ferguson. She's actually a local artist that Rachel and Caitlin and I work with for Merpunks, which is an independent comic about steampunk mermaid. Seapunk. It is seapunk.
Seapunk.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's a whole new genre that I haven't.
Oh, it is. It is. So it's a lot of fun. And all of them are wonderful to work with. I wish I could highlight them all, but this is...
All right, so we'll have links to Firelight Cosplay,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and we'll have all that down below, along with the links to other things that we've looked at today.
Go check them out. Tucson Comic Con is coming up this weekend, 7th and 8th at Tucson Convention Center. I will be there both days. Amber will be there. A whole bunch of other people will be there. So go if you can. It's admission's only, I think, $10 a day, $15 for the weekend, and that's unheard of for a con.
Yeah.
It's small, but it's a pretty good size, and definitely a lot of great artwork that's there. Great costumes.
I've always been meaning to make it out to Tucson. I might show up.
It's worth it for how cheap admission is.
Yeah.
It's worth it. And then there's it's still small and a little dusty town, but there's still that college element. So you can go downtown and see some cool stuff, hang out with people. So
Awesome.
it's pretty laid back. A lot of fun.
We also gotta get plans to do something for Phoenix Comic Con Fan Fest this year.
Yes, and that's coming up next month now that
Yeah.
it is November 1st. First day of November. Happy November,
Yeah.
everyone. Woo! So, yeah.
So you probably aren't seeing this until probably the 5th.
Oh.
Because, this isn't going to be live or anything, and I'm
That's
probably
true.
going to edit all of this part out. Maybe. We'll
All
find out.
right.
Can leave it in.
All right, so that's it for today for our All Thumbs. Thanks, everybody, and see you next week. If you have anything you want us to talk about, just put a comment below, and we'll get to it. Anybody else got some final words?
I got nothing.
You said it.
Nothing.
Let the comments be the final words.